See Peter Obi's serious warning to the judiciary after he lost out at the tribunal. The fact remains that tribunal has been influenced. That is what we saw there. With all the tangible evidences and cases that the Labour Party presented, they went and wrote their own judgment and their own report the way they wanted it. At the same way they read out the INEC report and declaration of declared Tinubu winner at night is the same way the judiciary has done. It means that Nigeria is gone. That is the truth. It's going to be very difficult. Nigeria is not a country to spill your blood for. The people, it seems they are not tired of suffering. And I think they let the tribal bigots and the APC bigots continue what they are doing. Okay? And I have always said it. The level in Nigeria is self-deliverance. Deliver yourself first. Deliver yourself first. And then before any other thing. That is it. Nigeria is obviously not going anywhere because I can see that the wicked has taken over everywhere from head to toe, from top to bottom. So let's see what Peter Obi is saying to the judiciary. Peter Obi has vowed to appeal judgment upholding Tinubu's election. Now, candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has vowed to appeal the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court that upheld the election of President Bola Tinubu as president. Obi, whose petition was dismissed by the court, warned that if care was not taken, sound election jurisprudence will disappear in the country. He stressed that litigants that are dissatisfied with the outcome of an election may resort to self-help if they continue to find it very difficult to establish their case owing to obstacles from government institutions like the Independent National Electoral Commission. Speaking through his team of lawyers led by Dr. Levi Zoku San, Obi said, if we are not careful, our electoral jurisprudence will eventually disappear. I am saying this with every amount of sincerity because when the litigant, when those that contested election continue to find it very difficult to establish their case due to obstacles on the way, starting by INEC, certainly they may resort to some other means of trying to get justice, which may not be lawful. Also, I commend the Court of Appeal for introducing live stream. You may recall that we applied to the court to have live streaming of all the proceedings. The court, in its wisdom, did not grant the application. But now, in the end, they saw wisdom in it and the need to guarantee transparency, hence live streaming of the judgment. Certainly, it would have been better if it was live streaming of the entire proceedings so that the public will have the chance of watching and be able to relate properly with the judgment. So I will hope that and pray that this time it will be continuous starting from the beginning of a case. This is the only way that you can guarantee transparency, because when something is open, Nigerians will see things for themselves and they will make up their minds one way or the other, he added. Yes, what we're seeing here is that the judiciary has finished Nigeria. The politicians have finished Nigeria. Obviously, there's no way somebody can tell me now that democracy is better than the militocracy. That is it. Because obviously they have killed everything. And what Peter Obi is saying here through his lawyer is that, first of all, he's going to take this court to the Supreme Court, this case to the Supreme Court until the end of it. That's one. Number two, that we also need to be very careful in Nigeria, because a situation where litigants are not able to establish their case because of, or when they establish their case is not upheld because of the barriers and bottlenecks that we have in the judiciary and government institutions like INEC, litigants might find other ways to help themselves, which may not be lawful. And we need to be very, very careful about that. It is obvious that the country is gone, is drained, is gone down the drain. It's going to be very unfortunate. And I see looting been established. I see corruption been entrenched and has come to live in Nigeria. And this is exactly what the Western world wants. I will not I will not exclude the Western world from what is happening here. The same way France is suppressing all the Francophone countries is the same way the British and America is suppressing the Anglophone countries. Okay, because the U.S. president or the U.S. themselves, the U.K. themselves, they saw all of these things and they are still happy to have a corrupt leader there so that they can continue to loot Africa and continue to press us down. They know that if somebody like Peter Obi enter, all those things, Nigeria will recover and all those means they are using to loot Nigeria all will stop. That is why more reason they don't want people like Peter Obi or any other person to enter. Quite unfortunate, really unfortunate. So now we have Tinubu as president, somebody that has everything about him illegitimate, everything about him shrouded in secrecy, everything about him not correct. Is now the president. We were thinking that Buhari presidency was the worst because Buhari were challenging his certificate. But now we have seen that Tinubu's own is the worst and has been upheld by the judiciary. So where is the law, where the democracy, and where the Electoral Act? All of those institutions and all of those processes and all of those laws are dead in Nigeria. Nigeria now is an unlawful nation. That is why I see it. Because if they bend the law to suit themselves, then forget it. Forget it. That is the truth. Forget it. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing. So let me see. There are a few comments here. Somebody is saying something here. Something like Professor Shenka said, before the presidential election, when he was hosting Obi in his house, Obi's problem is Obi's problem is his supporters. They will be attacking and abusing other tribes as if the votes of only Igbos can make him the president of Nigeria. The registered voters in Kano State, my friend, go and sleep. And they draft what? So what is happening here is that bigotry has happened, and everything we are seeing here, Nigeria is buried in bigotry and hypocrisy. Quite unfortunate. So much of those 5 judges and their generations to 10 generations will continue to live in pain till eternity in this country, and it shall never ever be well with them. Evil will not depart from them and their entire household till they die. That is it. That is it. That is it. It's quite unfortunate that we're in this country. So let's meet the appeal court. The law doesn't end at the tribunal at all. Needless of judicial intimidation. It is unfortunate that they weren't able to summon the INEC criminal officer that rigged the election result to produce documents to prove how his favorite won the election in the court of tribunal. Tribunal till today, he is working freely after failing to upload results on IREF. What cost Nigeria 300 billion naira? Very disgusting indeed. Let us leave everything in the hands of God. God will pay everybody according to his or her deeds. That is it. If you had watched the proceedings, your lawyers would have been stoned to death by your followers. All of them know that you have 12 billion contributed to you and millions of dollars that you refuse to use for the election, and they are out there to eat from it as you refuse to pay even agent who worked for you. What are you saying now? So this person is not trying to blame Peter Obi now or blame Labour Party. Abi. Sound electoral jurisprudence has since disappeared in Nigeria. Okay, not be today. It don't take. Okay, so what do you expect in a country where corruption is the order of the day? Okay, what did you expect if your lawyers didn't present papers from even a single polling unit to prove the claim of falsification of result? That is when I knew it was a waste of time. What are you saying? I better go ahead and appeal and keep on wasting your time and your money to the Supreme Court, and after Supreme Court to retirement. Judiciary does not favor judgment with emotions or public opinion. We Nigerians want Tinubu, and is the only man we can trust. Nigeria is finished. Oh, Nigeria is finished. Nigeria is finished. Nigeria is finished. It's quite unfortunate. It's okay. All man, go and put your house in order. That is what I think. Self-deliverance is the only way now. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment.